tell me, how did they cast this? Because I have no idea what you guys would have done to go in to get these roles.
Yes. So how they cast it, sorry, it's fun looking at us as well. How they cast it is, I was personally found actually on Twitter. I was making like little silly comedy videos, and Paul Feig's assistant Greg found one of the videos, and they called me into audition in Chicago at IO Chicago. And it was only my second audition. And then I went to do the chemistry reads after in New York. And that's where I met Sam, who I love so much. And they had us do scenes, but we were allowed to improvise a little bit as well. So I think they needed to know that we could have improv chemistry and also acting chemistry, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I would say mine was a little bit more well, no, it was kind of a weird story where I got a call out of the blue from my ex-girlfriend, and she was like
hooked.
And I was like, hello? No, and she's like, hey, I'm auditioning for this show right now, and I think you have to audition for it. And I was like, really? And she sent me the size.
She's like, only if you take me back. No, she didn't. Sorry.
And we're married. But so she sent it to me, and I called my team, and I was like, hey, you need to get me in for this. And I auditioned for Paul and Jenny for a first time audition. That's so weird, you know? And
so wild, yeah.
But yeah, I remember we had a lot of like improv going in. There was going to be a mock interview, and I remember like I wrote a monologue that was going to lead into an interview. And yeah, I just had so much fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Did the two of you tell that you worked well together right away, or did it take time?
I knew that it would be with Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that it would be with Sam. And I think that also, like, I don't think we knew how well we'd work together, but it definitely felt right in the room.
Yeah.
I didn't know what those audition processes were like. So like, I definitely just felt that to me, it felt like my cousin in the audition room. And then as we worked together more, it was like obvious that we were meant to play together. We got really close. I think we do look a little alike, so it makes cousins easy.
Yeah.
Were they always cousins?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
They're
like
cousins and they're lovers. No,
were they always cousins?
If they had just been friends, there could have been a relationship that could have transpired.
I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
No, we
of course it could happen anyway with cousins. Who knows, right?
No, it really can. We've all seen Salt Lake City. No kidding. I'm sorry. Me and Sam, we have always been cousins on the show.
Yeah.
There's no romance there. But you know, if they write it in the script, I love the show so much that I would do it.
I would do it. No.
But they're not. But they won't.
I'm pushing for it actually.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
What age are they supposed to be?
Wait. What age do you think they are?
They've got to be out of high school. Okay, so they're in their 20s somewhere, but I'm not quite sure. And you have that friend who runs the car dealership, this kind of jerk. At least I think he's a jerk. And then the girl who's the Welcome to Flatch, whatever kind of person.
Aya Cash.
Aya. Yeah,
no, not Aya. She's a newspaper person. The one who runs the tribute.
Society, Taylor Ortega.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
Yeah,
this
so
cast
funny.
is like very stacked with like such comedic talent. Like Taylor Ortega is so funny. She comes from UCB Improv in New York and like the Pit and stuff. Justin Linville, who plays Mickey, is so funny. Crystal Smith, who plays Big Mandy, is hysterical. Like genuinely, so much of the cast is unknown, and they're so funny. And I can't wait for everyone to meet them.
Yeah.
So, all right, back to the age.
Back to the age.
Sorry. Yeah.
They're in their 20s.
21.
Okay. And do they have careers? I know you're an influencer, and I know that you get a job like cleaning cars at some point, but do they have any kind of means of support?
Yes. Well, basically, Kelly continuously makes up new jobs that she's going to do. And so she gets like a little money each time, but she's basically like constantly just hustling for different gigs, coming up with new ideas. That's why she calls herself an entrepreneur. And because it is a really small town, it is pretty cheap to live. Also, she still lives under her mom in her mom's home. So she's not paying rent. So she just really needs to get money for like basic needs. But yeah, she's always coming up with new ideas, like starting a lawn mowing business, you know, dance class. You'll see in the episodes, basically every episode, Kelly has a new idea to try to make money.
Yeah. And Shrub does not have much of a means, but he lives with his grandma, which I think
helps
provide shelter.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think like Shrub has any extra cash laying around.
They're both definitely trying to make
yeah.
money. I think even right now they're trying to make money from being social media influencers.
Yeah, but just like I think the real exciting challenge for them is doing it in a way where they like love what they do and get paid for it. But you know, in Flatch, that can be kind of tough.
Mm-hmm. But they're always trying.
Did you know people like these two at all in your lives?
I actually do know a couple people.
Yeah.
I don't know them very much now living in LA, because LA I can barely afford to live in. It's a really crazy city.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like for sure growing up, I had friends who, and you know, I worked at an escape room for a while in Chicago, and I worked with this guy, and he was always coming in with new little ideas. He's like, I'm going to start my own escape room, or like he'd be like, I'm going to start this app, or like, yes. So I do think that I think because of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
plus being in a small town, there's so many ways to start your own little jobs now.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I definitely grew up knowing Shrub and Kelly. I'm from Ohio, so like there's definitely some shades of that. I feel like I have some family members that kind of have helped with the role. Yes. But yeah, I think hopefully everyone knows Shrub and Kelly, and hopefully they have a new appreciation moving forward.
Like as silly as they are, I think that they are like really, really beautiful characters because they are really resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just really don't give up, and they really only have each other as their main family. Like they have other family members who just really aren't there for them very much.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they are each other's chosen family. And I think it's really beautiful to watch, even though they're pretty silly.
Mm.
I totally know these two. I know these two. And may I tell you, I've seen Kelly. I see her every day, I think. And constantly scamming, and they're like, oh, and I'm going to start this. And you think, oh, right. You are not going to do that. You are not, it is not possible. Now,
I know.
Wrong, right?
Yes, I got scammed actually recently. I've been scammed twice. I'm pretty gullible. And I got scammed on these concert tickets, and it was a website called Ticket Sales that looked just like Ticketmaster. And I wanted the tickets really fast, and I didn't realize, and I was getting closer and closer to the concert, and I wasn't getting my tickets. And I started doing more research, and I was like, you were scammed once again. And I just remember though being like, Kelly would do that to someone.
That is so Kelly. Yeah,
I couldn't be mad at them. I was like, you got me good.
You've got a plot point. Talk about doing the mockumentary format. Is that real difficult to do? And Sam, you had it with the kids are all right. You didn't have, you had real lines and you were working with another cast. You didn't have this kind of turn to the camera thing.
Yeah.
So you're used to perhaps a more traditional format?
Yeah. And I mean, it was kind of a night and day thing. I mean, I've really loved that there's a documentary crew that sort of serves as like almost a character.
Fully, yeah.
I think it helps with so many levels comedically because it helps set up jokes with the interview style stuff, and I don't know, just having that extra partner is just like, and it really got me out of my fear of being on camera, because before the kids are all right, such an amazing opportunity, but it was my first thing. I was pretty uncomfortable through most of it, and so with this one I got to really stare down the barrel of this camera and be like, I'm not afraid of you anymore, and it was really nice. In
that show though, really you didn't fight for attention, right? You just kind of knew, all right, I have my 2 minutes here, and then I'm off and another kid gets the attention.
Yeah.
But it looks like you guys could really just take over if you wanted to.
I would say that not that extreme. I would say so we have lines always that we have to do. And then the director, depending on who was directing the episode, would like give you a little freedom. Like, let's have this one be like a fun take, or you can play a little more here. So if you would but it was more like, I would say definitely still not like fighting for time. Like it was definitely still like the rhythms of our lines and stuff like that. And I think having the camera just made it feel, for me, it just made it so much easier to be in character, because you really did feel like, you really just felt like you were like in a documentary. And for me, coming from improv, it felt really nice. It's almost like, an audience member, you know, or something. And so I really, really love the docu-comedy style.
Also just scheduling. I mean, on other shows you do like 2 scenes a day and it takes
We do like
forever.
15 a
We
day.
do 15 because it's like, as long as they're not in the background, no one's in the background, you can shoot, because we're shooting all natural light.
Yes.
It's go, go, go.
So it feels like you're really like acting, where like, this is
Yeah.
all I know. So it was my first show. And so I felt really like, I remember being like, wow, this is like pretty fast paced. I was like,
And I was like, you have no idea.
yeah. And then everyone was like, most shows you'll do like 2 scenes in a day or something and like get a million angles, where it's like, me and Sam, like we were just constantly memorizing lines, like because we worked every day. A lot of the other cast worked like once or twice a week, you know, and we were just like 6 days a week working all the time. And I remember like when it finally ended, it was so fun. Like we really, really loved it.
Yeah.
But I remember when it ended, I would get in the shower and I'd be like, okay, time to think about lines. And then I was like, there's no more lines. There's no more lines, just because genuinely me and Sam were always memorizing lines.
Constant material.
How did you memorize that much? Because it seems like it's just a beast.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
You gave me the app to help me.
yeah, I mean, because we were working so much throughout the day, we had so much to prepare. I would use Speechify, this app, and it basically loops any text you want. And so I would just rewrite the whole scene, but as one big chunk of text. No, like, you know, Kelly's right. It was just the whole scene, and I would fall asleep to it. And I would like work on it all day, and then I'd go to sleep and I'd be listening to it all night. And then I'd wake up and I'd be like, I hope it's in my brain. And then you go to work and you just kind of let it go. But yeah.
This was my first time learning how to memorize lines. And that was, I will say, like the being on set part felt really natural in the performing, but the memorizing so many lines was definitely like a skill that like I had to learn, and Sam was so helpful with tips. Crystal taught me a really cool tip of like doing it one line and you add one more line to memorize each time. But Speechify really was it for me too. Just like being able to listen in this robot voice, because then I could like put my own spin on it. And most days, because we lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, but we would film in like a small town that was like an hour away. And so every morning we drove like at least 45 minutes. And so like, you know, 5 a.m. or whatever. And so I would just really, really let that kind of, I either listen to Kelly's playlist, my character, which was like a lot of AC/DC and stuff, or I would listen to my lines.
Yeah, to me, it seems I'd say there's not a cue card guy. Come on, there's got to be somebody here to help me out with that.
Well, I mean, luckily, you know, in film, you know, it's not like theater where, you know, it's just one big long take and you can't mess up. It's like, you know, you get to redo scenes. And also we like, which I was so grateful that you were like into this, but like we rehearsed a lot of our stuff the night before. We would like get off set, we'd be like, what's tomorrow? And we'd like hang out for an hour and we would like go over scenes and do it as many times, because I don't know, I think that prep for me was really helpful, because
totally helpful. And we'd also just let ourselves like play. Like I really feel like there's like 3 main characters. It's like Kelly, Shrub, and then us together, because like we really do, I feel like, have a language together as the characters that came from like being able to have the lines, but also being able to improvise. So when we could play at home or something before we went to set, I think it was really helpful in us practicing sort of our improv language together.
And like learning about each other, I think, you know, as Kelly and Shrub, like getting to know each other, because we did just kind of like just meet and go. So it was nice to like,
and like things were tough. No, we got along.
Really tough.
Did you get to add things in terms of how they looked and what they wore? Did you say, okay, now this, he's got to have this or she's got to have that?
Yeah, and they were all pretty cool with that. Like for me, like in the British series, there is like Shrub's character is named Curtain, and Curtain has these like little hair like side curtains on as his hair. And I thought for Shrub, I didn't want to do that, and because it was so perfect in the British, that I just wanted that shrubby, you know, big kind of a bush like long bangs, and they were really cool with that. And also like I didn't do any hair or makeup. I would shower at night and I'd wake up in the morning, and that was my hair.
We both really didn't wear makeup on the show at all.
Yeah, and which I love.
I would say that Sam took a lot more did a lot more stuff where he would make choices for his wardrobe and hair, where I would say that where you see me improvising and my take on things was more in like the lines. Like I think I improvised a lot, like I did a lot of takes with like a lot of extra improv, where
Mhm.
for me, my outfit was just, our costumes is amazing. Our wardrobe,
Really is.
Emmy, she's so amazing. Emmy Holmes. And yeah, she really just had Kelly down. And then my hairstyle was that I just like put it up in a messy bun and then let those baby hairs free.
Yeah, it's so interesting because the people in small towns are actually more trendy than people in larger cities. They are aware of the trends right away and they latch onto, even if they're not a good trend. And
Yeah.
it looks like these two buy in right away to that kind of stuff. I mean, the idea that she even has her own posse that she's, hanging with, and they're like hanging on every word that she has to say. I find that really kind of interesting that people are going to understand maybe when they see this for the first time, they're going to go, what? I thought these people are always supposed to be behind everybody else. But is that because they have the time to just kind of lean into this or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time for them, but I do think they are, speaking of trends and everything, I do find that, like, at least in terms of Shrub, like, Shrub's not trying to be like anyone else, but he's trying to be the most his own style, which I think is pretty extreme, but
I think
yeah.
Kelly definitely likes to be a leader in the town, but
Mhm.
definitely likes to follow trends 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that it is because there's a lot of time. And I also really think that in like small towns, the internet, it means so much more than even people in big cities, because it's like in big cities, we really can be inspired by so much around, where in a small town, you kind of see everything to be inspired by really quickly. So I think you
Mhm.
go to the internet a lot. And I think that Kelly gets a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration from like Columbus Crew, watching soccer games, from watching like hip hop video dances online. Like I think she really is inspired from online.
Isn't she like the long lost Kardashian?
Yeah, she really is. And she's getting her butt done this actually winter.
Yeah.
So she's really excited about it.
Season 2 is a big episode.
Kelly gets a big butt
Big
lift.
butt.
I like it. Well, when did you guys finish? When was the show? When did you last shoot this? And when could you start in again?
A
We
year
finished
ago.
over a year ago. So we really
So-
had to sort of like move on with our life for a second. We were
Yeah.
like, is this happening? And now it finally is, and we're so excited. But it really,
It was a year of just like, I don't know.
and really 2
before
years
that,
since we did the pilot.
yeah, because of COVID and we got shut down. So
I don't know if you know, we did one day of our pilot in March 2020,
Yeah.
and then they shut down.
But how weird is that in that waiting period where you go, well, is this like not happening? Are we just like,
yeah, it's hard.
I think it really tests you and makes you
Yeah.
know that like the one show isn't your everything, but then when it comes
Yeah.
back, you get to be so excited. And
Mhm.
I do think because Kelly and Shrub are like, we informed the characters so much that and we got so close to them because we had to do so many scenes with them every day for like, months and months. I think that they were still like living inside us, luckily. Like
Yeah.
the other day I was like, what if I forgot how to be Kelly? And then I like opened one script, and then right when I had the lines, I was like, there she is,
Yeah.
found her.
Shrub will just come out. He'll just come out when I'm walking around the house.
Yeah.
so
He's like, sometimes I want to date, and Shrub comes out.
Yeah.
they're kind of your alter egos and they're there all the time?
My sister always like will say that like Kelly always lived inside me, and I was
Mhm.
like, I could play a lot of characters, and they're like, maybe just Kelly.
Yeah.
No.
Shrub's been in there for a while as well,
Yeah,
in different forms, but yeah.
it's really a dream to play these characters. I can't even
Truly.
tell you, like they're just so fun to play, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a once in a lifetime role, I feel like.
And it was just so freeing because, like, I don't know, and like in other things, a lot of people are like, you've got to be your prettiest and you've got to be.
I'm so glad I don't play
I'm like,
hot.
oh my God. And like, compared to like the kids are all right, and they're like, you're cute. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm wearing a wig and I don't feel cute at all. And it was, I was so in my head. And like this with Shrub, I got to lean into all of my insecurities and I loved it. It was so freeing. I'm like, I only want to do more of that. Like,
People probably won't recognize you outside of the show. They'll just go, who are these two?
Which is
Because
such a
the character-
gift.
such a gift.
Yeah.
I really love that. No, it's like I can genuinely put like such little effort into like just looking like myself and show up, and people are like, wow, just because Kelly really is so
She
different
really
from-
brought it, didn't she? Right?
Yeah. Like I literally just wear like a little lip gloss, and everyone's like star-studded. No, I really, it was such a gift having someone who didn't wear makeup and stuff, because I personally, in my day-to-day life, like I look pretty today in like a makeup way because I'm having fun and it's an event. But for the most, let's go out. Thank you. But I feel for the most part, I like to not wear very much makeup. So it just felt really fun to be able to not care what you look like on TV. And I just know that so many actors, that isn't their experience.
It's so rare. Yeah.
And it just felt like such a gift that it wasn't like, oh, you know, it just felt really like they got to be fully themselves.
Yeah.
It takes hours for me to look like this, right? That's
Yes.
the last question I have to ask you though, what happened to that ex-girlfriend that recommended you for this part?
She died. No, she's really good. Can you imagine? I'm like, and Sam has a really, really sketchy story, you know?
Yeah. It's dark. No, we're great. She's a good friend of mine. So
she's super talented and cool.
And when I was in New York for my test, I bought her lunch because I was like, thank you so much.
You are so generous, boy.
Oh yeah. No.
Not even dinner, it was just lunch.
It was lunch. No, it was literally like when I went in for my test, I was there for less than 24 hours. I was in and out, and yeah. It was so I was like, hey, I can squeeze you in here in
Let me pencil you in.
Middle of New York.
Well, she deserves a lot. Did she get a part? Did she get a part in this at all or not?
Not yet.
Not yet. We have to get season 2.
Gotta get season 2.
And she's gonna be our third cousin.
The dumb one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she's gonna be the ugly one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You owe her. You gotta bring her on somehow. She can at least be somebody coming to town for something. I mean, it's there.
And she's so talented too. So it's perfect.
She is. She's really a talented actress.
You know her?
So we're all from Chicago in different ways. They went to did she go to DePaul too?
No, she went to Northwestern.
She was from Chicago, and I remember Sam really speaks so highly of her. Her name is Jessie. And I don't know. Yeah. And because she's really, really a great actress. And so when he would speak highly of her and said if she got the part, I looked her up, and she's in like a couple little movies and stuff in there. She's really great. Yeah.
Well, see, it all ends well, I hope.
Yeah. Still going.
He's like begging for you to get back with her.
Yeah. Come on, let's
You're
see
like,
what
I need a story.
Yeah, come on, I need the story, and I want the scoop. Okay, this is how this works.
You're like, they're just cousins, right? Something.
There's got to be something here, right?
Yeah.
Good luck with this. I think it's very, very cute. It's fun to see, and I think people who live in small towns will be really thrilled to see that they're held up in this way. Yeah, they're goofy characters, but all those things, that Scarecrow Festival, all that crap that people try to do to make sure their town is worthy, comes out in this, and it's done with love. So I really appreciate seeing that.
Well, we hope everyone loves it, and we're so grateful to Charlie and Daisy for having the original This Country, and we are so grateful for anyone who watches it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it.